Thank you, John. Thank you, Bank Hall, for having me here today. Ladies and gentlemen, have you had a good morning? Yes. Fantastic. Are you ready for a great afternoon? Yes. Excellent. Welcome to risk-taking and decision-making in poker, business and life with myself, Caspar Berry. I hope in some way most of you agree with it. All of what we're talking about here today is that subject of risk and risk-taking. George certainly threw a bit of a curveball around that subject, didn't he, when he talked about his own background in motorsport. I think risk can be a great thing to embrace in our lives. The trouble is, whether it's as George did it or as anyone does it, it can be dangerous. Things can happen when we embrace this thing, not always the thing that we thought would happen when we woke up that morning. I'm sure some of you remember this photo. It went round on email about 7 years ago, and there was some debate about whether it was real or not. In the end, the photographer won an award. So I think it is a real photo, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't think that is. But that is someone taking risk. They're taking risk in their life. I don't think that is a real photo. But these people are taking risk in their lives, whether we like it or not. Risk is definitely something. That is a real photo, terrifyingly. So is that. Doesn't look a lot there. It looks a lot more risky in that context, doesn't it? Risk is definitely something we can choose to embrace in our lives. But it's quite a slippery word, that word risk, because risk is also something that can happen to us, whether we like it or not. Sometimes it's just going to happen to one poor, unfortunate person or individual. It doesn't make it any less painful if that person happens to be you. Sometimes it's going to happen in quite personal, intimate moments, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes very intimate. We don't want this sort of thing to happen. Sometimes much more public and embarrassing. It's going to strike us. This gentleman found out the subject of a photo story in the Daily Mail. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Daily Mail, we do not want any of those things to happen to us as a result of today. And therefore, as John said in his introduction, I'm going to try and contain this subject of risk to a much safer world, safer probably even than the financial world, to the world of poker. That's the world I'm going to use as my metaphor. But we continue to put up these signs externally, and we put up these signs internally as well. We had fear of failure long before we had health and safety, long before we even had any concept of what risk is. So let's just spend our last 3 minutes together just understanding what fear of failure actually is. Where does it come from in our minds? Because this is what a poker player needs to do. Make friends with their fear of failure. Understand it and embrace it. So, fear of failure is an emotion. Fear is definitely an emotion. But it's a very rational emotion, I think. It's our friend a lot of the time, ladies and gentlemen. It stops us from doing things that are stupid and selfish and dangerous. Stops us from taking risks that we shouldn't. But at the point of making all those decisions, we do a calculation. We think about the upside, we think about the downside, and we make judgments and assessments. And whilst we never do this mathematically, or very rarely, here in the pit of our gut, we do a calculation. And we come to some sort of conclusion. How much is this worth to me? Should I take the leap or not? The problem, if you like, and very often the beauty of the decision-making process, is that we do this emotionally. We're emotionally calculating probabilities, and we're emotionally applying meanings to the different possible outcomes. And therefore, we need to understand that most of the time, not all, the origin of fear is the fact that we get less pleasure from our gains than we get pain from our losses. Most of the time, not all. We underestimate emotionally the impact of the highs and overestimate the impact of the lows. And therefore, when we make this calculation, here in the pit of our gut, the figures are almost irrelevant because it's how we feel about those figures. And so if we replace those dollar signs with utility amounts, we get less pleasure from our gains than we get pain from our losses. Less pleasure from our gains than pain from our losses. And the result of this emotional calculation done in a split second here in the pit of our gut is we've gone from a nice, healthy, positive $70, 175% return on our investment to minus 25. And I don't know about you, but in that moment of decision, I'm going to let this opportunity go. And that would be fine if we were here talking about poker. But we're not. We're talking about the opportunities that life presents us with every single day. And so I ask you again, ladies and gentlemen, are the decisions that you are making the best decisions to get you to where you want to get? We will never, ever be able to control everything. For every single person here in this room, failure is not an option. But what we mean by that, ladies and gentlemen, is that long-term failure is not an option. Failure to get to that goal, to achieve success, to climb that mountain, to turn around and say, we did that. Failure to achieve that is not an option, and therefore short-term failures are a necessity. Thank you very much.